Good morning, YouTubes. Yeah, as you can see, we're in the shop again today. But today's going to be a little different. We're not going to be learning a how-to or working on the bike at all. I don't know if you can see behind me here, but my bike has the bags on it. It's packed up and ready to go. Today, I'm taking you with me to go moto camping. I know, moto camping's expensive. Well, I'm going to show you how to get around that. Maybe do a little moto camping on a budget. So, let's get going. Let me explain what we're doing here. So this is still my backyard. I live in the Daniel Boone National Forest, and I've got 154 acres of just wooded property. And what I'm trying to show you here is, you get new gear, you want to try moto camping for the first time, it's probably best to camp in your own backyard. Reason being, you don't want to have a problem 300 miles away from home. That's not the time to find out that, hey, my air mattress won't hold air, or, hey, wow, this tent really leaks. So I'm going to show you the gear that I bring, and it's not going to be any fancy high dollar stuff. It's not going to be, you know, your Agnes sleeping bag, nothing like that. Because let's be honest, we don't want to spend that kind of money, especially if it's our first time being out on the bike moto camping, especially if it's your first time camping at all. So there's nothing wrong with going and spending, you know, $300, $400, $500 on a tent if that's what you want to do. I'm going to show you what I did. You know, my tent, it's an Amazon, probably something, you know, cheap, made in China tent, but it works for me. And if at any point it stops working for me, I'll upgrade it. I'll buy something new. If I'm going to moto camp once and be like, man, this is really not for me, I don't want $1,000 spent in camping gear. So let's get this thing started. I'll get to setting up my tent, setting up my sleeping gear, and I'll just kind of go through and show you what I got and how it works for me. A little pro tip here. These are actually it belonged to my wife. Little rubbery hair tie things. Keeps your poles separated. Easier to get them in and out of your bag. Ta-da! Now we're going to take a look inside and see exactly what all I've got here. So, I've got this, it's a cot. It fits up, it folds up into like 16.5 inches so I can fit it inside the bags on the bike so it's not hanging out. You can see the thermarest, it's a self-inflating. I've got some little cheapy, I don't know, LE headlamp. If you're going camping, gotta have it. These, I don't even know who makes these. Some little cheap Chinese thing. Deal Bang. They come with these little carabiners. I hate to call them carabiners. Or some kind of clip. And you got a little button here. Lights up, dim. Why you would need a strobe camping? No idea, but whatever. Chinese thought I needed a strobe. This tent, however, has this thing up here with all these little hooks on it. So it's like perfect for hanging these little lights. These here, I like sleeping with a lot of pillows. I don't know about y'all, but they don't take up much room. I went on Amazon and looked it up. For you that, like me, we don't have little kids. These are baby pillows. I didn't know that was such a thing. Pillows for babies. They, I can't even tell you what size they are right now. But I had the wife go and take some old pillowcases, and she helped me out. We sewed up some little, I guess like roll-up travel deals, kind of like my thermarest. Put a shoestring through it, and one of these little plastic deals, I don't know, whatever you call these things, to keep them all bound up, and they fit in the saddlebags as well. So, why not? I like pillows. Alright, so let's talk about the bag. So, just got a shower bag in there. Got extra clothes for tomorrow tucked in here. I do have something in here I'd like to show you. I don't know what they're called. Nurture Ultra Thick Bathing Wipes. Oh my goodness. So if you go camping and you're out in the wilderness, these things are absolutely fantastic. Cleaning yourself up, especially if you've been riding all day. Oh, they're not a shower, but by God, they're close. And this little DeWalt bag, just, I don't remember what even came in this thing, but I've got several different style bags like this. This one just happened to suit my fancy, and it fit in the side bags. So, you know, you can go and spend all kind of money on fancy little boxes and storage containers to put your clothes and stuff like that in, but you know, you got something like this, handy. Alright, I'm going to show you something right now that's not necessarily like only camping related. Now, I use them when I go camping just because I've got the big thermarest, and I put the dry bag across the back and strap it down. And to strap that down, originally I'd bought those little bungee straps everybody gets to try and hold stuff down. They don't hold stuff down. So then I went and I was like, you know what, it's still being cheap, so I bought some cheap little net things with all these hooks, and I'm like, yeah, that'll do it. That didn't do it either. And riding, you know, here in Kentucky, we got 70-mile-an-hour speed limits down most of the highways. Doesn't give me a warm, fuzzy feeling to have some cheap little net holding my stuff on. That stuff fall off, and if it doesn't kill you, it could hurt somebody else. So, or you just lose your gear, either way. So I went and I bought some rock straps. These are rock straps. They literally, they just tie around your frame. They just like loop themselves around it, and both ends will loop to frame rails, they'll loop to, you know, your passenger pegs and the bottom of your seat, whatever. And once you got them looped up, they've got these handy little clips on each side that clip into each other. Look like that. And then these like bright, I don't even know what to call this color, greenish, yellow, whatever. They're elastic. So they've got some stretch in them, kind of like a bungee cord, but like, I don't even know. They're stout, like heavy duty. All right, well, and I've just cinched mine down in like an X pattern, and so even if, I don't know, say whatever, my bag starts deflating or whatnot, and you start, on most straps, you just get a little bit of slack in there, things loosen up. These, I'm pulling against that rubbery, oh god, that stretchy piece. So even if the load does shift a little, the stretch in these will help take it up and keep your luggage or whatever, your lunchbox, anything. It'll keep it all nice and snug down so that you don't lose it, and you know, have your gear when you get there. All right, I got a breakdown of what I've got here. So I've got a Bestport tent. It's a 2-person tent. Right now it's about 80 bucks on Amazon. The rock straps I told you about earlier, fantastic. 20 bucks for those. I mean, you can't go wrong with the rock straps. The Thermarest is a base camp, right at $100. The dry bag that I kept it in is a dry pack. It's a 12.5 by 28 inch, and it's 27 bucks. Now, I'll probably replace that. Not that it is in any way not doing its job or not working good for me. I just don't like the blue. I think it's kind of ugly. I might replace it with a dry pack style duffel bag, and you know, that way if I want to throw some more stuff in there, I've got an extra room. Moving on, the baby pillows I told you about, they're a 13 by 18 inch, and it was 18 bucks for 2 of them. So pretty cheap, and they're all right. I like them. The let's see, those little camping lights. The little camping lights were 14 bucks, and it came as a pack of 4 of them, and they're literally called camping lights. I don't know, so I don't understand why they've got a strobe function. The sleeping bag is an Eco Pro warm weather. I think it's rated at like 60 degrees, which might be a little chilly, but you might not be. It might be all right for you. It's 83 inches by 30 inches, and it's 28 bucks. So, like I said, the thing I like about it is it completely unzips, and so you're not like tight and squished into a little bitty sleeping bag. You can use it like a blanket. The bathing wipes by Nurture Valley, they were $29. I know it sounds kind of high, but it was, each one of those little packages I showed you had 10 of those little wet wipes in there, and the box comes with 12. So at 29 bucks, I mean, you know, you don't have to use them just for camping. So the cot, I don't even know how to, I don't know, SML Fit camping cot. Another one of them cheap little things I bought on Amazon, and by cheap I don't mean it was cheap. That thing was like 70 bucks. It's 27.5 inches wide, 75 inches long, and it barely fits in this tent. Most of the tents this size, you know, they get a little crowded. It takes up a lot of room, but I'm a side sleeper. Not young anymore. I don't like sleeping on the ground. So when I have the room to take it with me, I'm taking it, because it is just way better to sleep on than sleeping on the ground. I've got some cooking stuff that I haven't shown yet. I got it right here behind me. Here's a stove that I bought, and this is a stove kit. Is what they call it. It's pots and pan kind of thing. I don't know. It works well. A lot of times, like if I'm heating up like a mountain house kind of meal, whatever you call those, I'll heat water up in these to pour in there. I make hot cocoa in this one. Heat my water up in there, or you can use this great big one and just do a whole bunch of hot cocoa, whatever. Ramen soups, things like that, heating up in here. I mean, they're great for it. They're nothing fancy. I think they're just some kind of cheap aluminum. Wide Sea is who they're made by. Wide Sea Outdoors, which nothing but the finest. Again, this stove kit was 29 bucks, which, you know, when you start looking at different pots and pans and stuff like that, this is way cheaper than most of the other stuff. I also bought the Stanley it's just a fry pan. It comes with, I don't know, you snap this thing together, you got a little spatula. It comes with a bunch of other stuff too, some kind of cheap silverware and whatnot. Same as this. This came with a bunch of like folding silverware. I don't really use that crap. This here is supposed to be some kind of a cutting board, or I don't know. I've never used it either, but I bought steak for tonight, so maybe I'll trim my steak up just so I've got an excuse to use it. Whatever. This was 27 bucks. It's got the little fold-out handle. Locks it in there. I really do like this, especially like in the morning for breakfast, cooking up some scrambled eggs or something. It doesn't stick. I mean, of course I use a lot of butter, but don't judge me for the butter. Now, this the little Wide Sea stove kit, it came with a stove that uses these, whatever these fuel blend canisters are. Normally I just cook over the fire. I just enjoy it, but there's places all over right now that you have a burn ban, can't have a campfire. So with that, I got a little stove for it. I tried using the stove. My recommendations on that is throw that little stove in the garbage as soon as you get it. I mean, it really is that bad. You can buy them for like, I don't know, $5 or something. They're dirt cheap, but mine, it just sucked. This is made by the same people, and the stove is essentially, it's pretty close to the same deal. But the setup is way different. Where the other one literally sits on top of that and you balance everything on there. This, it sits on these little legs here on the ground. If I can figure out how to open it. And all this stuff folds out. It gives you a nice wide base and a nice wide top for everything to sit on, rather than, you know, just this little itty bitty thing that they had on that other one. And then this just connects to the top of your bottle so that it's remote and everything's not sitting way up high on top. So, you know, like if you are cooking a nice healthy steak, or I don't know, just broccoli weigh a lot, whatever you're cooking up on there, I just don't like all my stuff sitting so high up on the canister. And yeah, it came with a little support base for the canister that widened it out. Just didn't like it. So this thing here was 17 bucks. It's nothing real fancy, but it lights every time. it cooks real well, and I've never had any kind of issue with it. So, but yeah, so that's essentially what I take with me. All this together was like $458. I'm sure I probably missed something, or forgot to add something. I don't know, whatever. But this is usually what I take with me. Of course, everybody's different. Everybody's gear is going to be different. I mean, if you're a hammock sleeper, you got this in the bag for most places. Of course, it's inconvenient when you can't tie to trees in like a state park or national park, whatever. But out here, you'd be golden. I just happen to be a side sleeper, and sleeping on a hammock just never worked for me. You may not need the $70 cot. Most people don't. I tried, I bought some kind of, I think it was a 4-inch inflatable pad that, I don't remember who made it. It was cheap. It was, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks. And had its own little pump with it and everything. Went ahead and tried it out. It sucked. Kept deflating. I can't keep it holding air. And I tend to be out here in the wintertime as well, so I get out when it's cold. This happens to be my hot weather stuff, but that Thermarest pad is insulated, and it has, I don't know, an R value of 7 or something like that, 9 maybe. It's very, very well insulated, so you can sleep with it even when it's cold out. Some of this other stuff, the dry bag, you may not need any of that. A lot of this cooked stuff, you could avoid most of all this stuff just by, having just Mountain House foods, or, I don't know, just go out to eat, I guess, which would be pretty handy. The only thing that I haven't bought yet is a camping chair. And usually if you're camping at a nice state park, or a built-up campground, you're going to have picnic tables and things like that around you. So it'll be a lot different setting up and cooking. You'll have a place to cook. Out here, I sit on logs, and if I go to a new spot and I don't have a piece of log or something to sit on, my bike's got hard bags, and they're pretty solid built aluminum panniers. I take one of those off, set it on the ground, and that's what I sit on. I'll take the other one, set it over there. I've got 3. The top one is perfect for when I'm cooking. I can set my stove right on top of that, have all my food stuff ready on the other one. So for me, it's not really been an issue for the camp chair, and I don't just sit around camp all day. Right now, it's noon, so I'm not going to sit around here all day and try and film me sit around all day. I'm going to actually go out and do a little hiking and tromping around through here. And I'll be back later tonight. We'll get us a good steak cooked up and finish this camping video.